welcome to this bonus episode of Giants of the Faith. This short episode will be most interesting to my American listeners as we're zeroing in on the Godmother of Thanksgiving, Sarah Hale. And we're talking about the American version of Thanksgiving, not that October celebration you folks in Canada hold every year. Sarah Buell was born on October 24th, 1788, in Newport, New Hampshire. Her parents were Gordon and Martha. Gordon was a captain in the American Revolutionary Army. Sarah's parents believed in education for girls, and so she was homeschooled by her mother and an older brother. In 1811, she met David Hale, and in 1813, the two were married. The couple would have 5 children between 1815 and 1822, until unfortunately David died in 1822. After David's death, Sarah entered a career that would see her as a published novelist, a magazine editress, a poet, and a cookbook author. She was extremely influential over American fashion and trends throughout much of her life, as one of the magazines she edited, Godey's Ladies' Book, had a circulation of over 150,000, and that was the largest by far in the United States. If she's most well known today as the Godmother of Thanksgiving, she's also recognized as the author of the children's poem, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Well, with that brief biography out of the way, let's take a look at why Sarah is known as the Godmother of Thanksgiving. In her role as magazine editress, she began in 1837 to publish her Thanksgiving editorials calling for a national holiday of Thanksgiving. Up until that time, Thanksgiving was basically a northern celebration, and it was practiced in New England, but not much anywhere else. The southern states, it was virtually unknown. Sarah called for a national holiday that would be one to unite the country in giving thanks to God for the blessings that He has bestowed on all Americans. She followed up the 1837 editorial 5 years later with another one in 1842, then again in 1847, 1848, 1849, not 1850, and then every year for the next 20-plus years from 1851 on. In addition, she wrote personal letters to Presidents Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, and Lincoln, urging the establishment of the holiday. She was pushing for a national holiday with an established date or day to kind of unite all of the local and statewide celebrations and to bring the holiday to the whole country. In 1854, she wrote, "It would be better to have the day so fixed by the expression of public sentiment that no discord would be possible, but from Maine to Mexico, from Plymouth Rock to Sunset Sea, the hymn of thanksgiving should be simultaneously raised as the pledge of brotherhood in the enjoyment of God's blessings during the year." Her editorials had an impact, too. In 1859, 32 states and territories celebrated Thanksgiving on the last Thursday in November. But the decision whether or not to celebrate and when was at the discretion of individual governors. So Sarah continued pushing for a national holiday. In 1860, she wrote, "Everything that contributes to bind us in one vast empire together, to quicken the sympathy that makes us feel from the icy north to the sunny south that we are one family, each a member of a great and free nation, not merely the unit of a remote locality, is worthy of being cherished. We have sought to reawaken and increase this sympathy, believing that the fine filaments of the affections are stronger than the laws to keep the union of our states sacred in the hearts of our people. We believe our Thanksgiving Day, if fixed and perpetuated, will be a great and sanctifying promoter of this national spirit." In 1863, her letter to Lincoln received a friendly reception. Lincoln issued national Thanksgiving proclamations in 1863 and 1864, setting the date of observance for the whole country. Sarah kept on encouraging the establishment of the holiday and its observance, pushing for Congress to establish the holiday by act. She was overjoyed at the discovery, as she was nearing the end of her life, that George Washington had actually issued a proclamation of Thanksgiving in 1789. Sarah retired from her position on the magazine in 1877 at 89 years old. Interestingly, that same year, Thomas Edison recorded "Mary Had a Little Lamb" as the first ever recorded speech on his phonograph. She died 2 years later on April 30th, 1879. Mary's dream of having the holiday passed into law was realized in 1941 when Congress authorized the observance of Thanksgiving as a federal holiday on the last Thursday of November. So as you sit with your family and share a meal and fellowship together, and you thank God for all that He has done for you, remember also Sarah Hale and her fight to make Thanksgiving a permanent part of the American experience. I hope you've appreciated this brief look into the life of Sarah Hale, a woman who wanted to unite her country in giving thanks to God, and who ultimately succeeded. Thanks for listening.